Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Find Your Edge. My name is Jordan Nagoli, and thank you so much for watching or listening wherever you are in the world today. I greatly appreciate you. We have a very special guest back on the show today. My sensei, Mitsunobu Uchida. Sensei, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you so much for being here. For the listeners out there that did not get a chance to listen to the first episode with Sensei, he is the founder of United States Taido Karate, and they just celebrated 48 years of the dojo being open. He holds a 7th degree black belt, and he has trained thousands of students over the years. He has impacted tens of thousands of lives, and he has successfully built and ran the largest Taido Dojo in the entire world. If you've not caught the first episode, go back and listen because we talk about kind of his childhood, his beginning, and today we have him back on to pick up from right where we left off, which is 1975 Sensei. So we're going to dive right in, and let's talk about this from the last episode because I was just listening to it before we got started. You had come to America. You'd been in Nebraska, Iowa, Atlanta.
Yes.
You went back to Japan.
Yes.
And you were there for about 1.5 to 2 years.
Yes.
And then you made the plan to come to the United States.
Yes.
To start U.S. Taido.
Yes.
From your memory and your perspective,
I love to read a Japanese newspaper, Nippon Keizai Shimbun, Japan Economic Journal. I read every day. And there's a cultural section at the end of the paper. And I always read that section. And one day it said, commissioner from agriculture from state of Georgia came to Japan, and his story was on the paper. I wrote him a letter immediately. I'm so interested in the state of Georgia. Can I come and see you? He said, you're most welcome. And so next day I bought the tickets and flew to Atlanta. At the airport, there's a gentleman who waited for me. His name is Tom Long. He was a manager of the Department of Agriculture for state of Georgia. And he and I become a best friend. And I told him what I need. And Mr. Seegers, who was a commissioner, deputy commissioner of the Department of Agriculture, asked me one day, young man, what can I do for you? So I said, one thing you can do for me. Yeah, tell me. I want to have a green card. And he said, what is that? And Tom Long said that it's something they can stay a long time, automatic extension visas. And so he looked at it, oh, okay. He called the office and took me over there and walked in and done. He got for me a green card. Next one is Mr. Tom Long is trying to find my home location, my dojo location in Atlanta. And he took me to Buford Highway in Pine Tree Shopping Center. We drove in, and I decided at that moment, this is fine. We were way back in the back. But I tried to do changing the gi and practicing outside. And owner of the shopping center, looking at my workout and, wow, can I sign up my son? Said, no problem. He was telling to some other people, some interesting Japanese got a space for our shopping center. And one day, I was working hard, working out, and I cooked there. And I stayed in the back area of the shopping center. And old gentleman is looking through the window and said, hey, open the door. So I opened the door and I said, hey, how are you? I said, hey, do you know you cannot stay here? I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about it.
So you were living at the Hambu
Yes.
at the same time. So Sensei, real quick, Tom Long was helping you find the location. What was going through your mind as a young Japanese man that is still learning the culture and the language about getting like a lease, a business license? How did you do all of this?
Everything I didn't know, just on-the-job training.
So you figured it out.
Let me tell you, near future, in the 75, I think almost a year stay or so, we go into the Japanese restaurant business.
Within a year of opening the dojo?
Yes.
Wow.
And amazing, the people using a credit card in my restaurant. And we didn't know what to do. And when we deposit the cash to the bank, I carried a bunch of them in envelopes and asking lady, what we do this to changing card, and how much you have that? We didn't know how to do it.
You say we. So let's backtrack a little. You find the location, you find the dojo, you start training there, and people just started coming because they saw you. How are you promoting Taido?
Yes, the owner of the shopping center was living in the Doroville.
Okay.
And talked to some other people. We print a flyer and running to the mailbox to putting to all the neighbors. And work out on the sidewalk of the shopping center.
Wow.
And the gentleman knocked on my door and they told me I cannot live there. Was the commissioner of the police. He became one of the best friends and helped me at many different occasions.
You have some good friends, Sensei.
Oh, yes.
You have some great friends. Okay, so I see now. So you kind of just do boots on the ground marketing. You're promoting it, but you're showing people what it is. You meet the commissioner of the police. And then when you say we, was there anyone teaching with you at that time?
Well, it was in the beginning all by myself. And almost a year passed. There was a Japanese guy, Kunitsu, who is a Taido man, same age, went to same university, same time learned the Taido. He's one of my well-known Japanese restaurant owner.
He still has one today.
Yes.
In Athens.
Yes, Athens, Georgia. And also Yamauchi, Wakayama. All these are same universities, Kohai, younger than we are. The Yamauchi, Inoko, Wakayama is. And they came to Atlanta. And one more, Sunaga, is also from Japan. He didn't go to the same university, but he joined us. I have to feed all of them. And all of them stayed in the same apartment.
Sensei, were you married at this time?
No.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And Misaki's mom came and helped us at cooking, and I don't know how she thought about it.
So you had 5 Japanese gentlemen Staying in the one apartment.
Yes.
Wow. And at that time, were you communicating with them on the phone? Why did they come to visit? To help train or just to visit? What was the plan?
The Japan Taido Association had a Taido newspaper. And Dr. Shikumine liked me and writing about my articles. And I sending a letter to the Kunitsu so they know what's going on. And they decided, we got to go into Mitsu's place. And that time I was teaching small number of the Japanese kids who live in Atlanta.
I see.
These are the kids of the major Japanese company came to the United States at the factories or office or some business, some kind of business. And Mr. Chanoki, Japanese man, invested one of the Japanese restaurant with his friends. And it was already closed, not doing well. And so I talked to him. Can I try the Japanese restaurant? And he said, wow, if you can get my money back, you can have it. So we start Japanese restaurant. Didn't know previous owner, not Mr. Chanoki, but those who did the restaurant, has all the money to laundry, suppliers, and all that.
So they were in debt.
Yes.
They had a lot of debt. What was the name of the restaurant, Sensei, that you guys started?
August Moon.
August Moon. So you had no experience in the restaurant industry.
No, so then we have to train all Taido sensei to a chef. And like a Benihana style of the teppanyaki Japanese restaurant. And we practice in the evening, but not good enough. And so when customer comes and all the customer sitting and cooking, but in the middle of the cooking, burning all the chickens and everything. So they're coming back to the kitchen. So I said, no, you got to go back. And still he's coming back. And so moved all the dishes. And then the shelf, I cut and used the breaking boards and carried in and announcing it. We might not cooking well, but we flip the shrimp. We flip the chef. I said, everybody, you got to be kidding. And we have a gong, hitting the gongs and getting attentions. Yes, chef goes to backflips and catch the chickens and cooking on the teppanyaki, and everybody goes crazy. $20 tips, leaving. And so our maybe cooking wasn't great, but our name went very well.
So the food was not that excellent, but the performance and the entertainment was top notch.
Yeah, Inoko did very well. And we did that restaurant for 5 years, 5.5 years.
How were you managing your schedule, Sensei? When would you train at Taido? How would you manage the restaurant? This is a lot. You basically started 2 businesses at the same time.
Yes. And it was very difficult, but we're young.
How old are you around this time?
20, 21. And the Taido started picking up a number of the students. And restaurant start moving forward. And the weekend, Friday night or Saturday night, they call me. Sensei, from the restaurant. Chef called me. Sensei, we don't have enough customers. Could you send some customers from Taido? You got it. And I go to the Hombu and everybody said it. those who are going to take a purple belt test, you should go to August Moon restaurant. And everybody with the parents and all goes. And then I called them, the restaurant, and, hey, what's going on? Sensei, it's packed. You got to send us a dishwasher. So the black belt, Tony, go to dishwasher. John, dishwasher.
Is this Tony Antonazzi?
Yeah.
Wow.
John Roberts and all these.
Yeah.
Jerry Johnson's. But great dishwasher.
And also excellent at Taido.
Yes, no doubt.
Wow. Sensei, where did this desire to create and start businesses come from? Because this is, I mean, that's a pretty crazy idea to do at that age, at any age, but especially at that age, in a different country.
I think the Taido give me so much energy and will to work hard and never give up spirit. I was young, but I have some ideas. And I don't want to lose the chance. Chance is everywhere. Jordan, you can see the chance like I can see. But most of the time we let go by. Chances that you gotta grab it. And so the restaurant, one day, mayor of the Cartersville, Georgia, and Chamber of Commerce people came to the restaurant. Inoko called me home and Sensei, you got to come to the restaurant. We're so busy, but some important people here. So I went and talked to them, and they are looking for somebody to help them to attract Japanese investment. Japanese companies come to Cartersville, Georgia. And I wasn't a consultant or anything, but I told them, you got to do greetings good, welcoming banners, good lunch with a Japanese beer. That was my first job as a consultant. I never thought I'm going to be one of the maybe top consultant of the Japanese staying in the United States.
So you help manage relationships between investors and businessmen from Japan, connecting them with people that you knew in Atlanta.
Yes. And many Japanese may be going to qualify for that, like the same thing I did. But difference is, I was deeply into the American society. And so when I need a good recommendation, I get from the Tom Long. Taido's belt test time, during giving a purple belt test, one of the college student, university student, missed nidangeri double kick and turn to the fukuteki on the floor, broke collarbone, and the pain, so he cannot do it, but finish it. And after 3 hours or so, sitting on the bench, I went to him and nicely, I'm sorry that happened. Your son broke the bones. He said, Sensei, you did a great thing. Because all his life, he got everything what he wanted. This is the first time he couldn't get it. Thank you, great teaching, and the left. So I called the student. Your dad is a great guy. Where he work? Delta Airline. Which office? I thought some local office manager. He said the headquarters. What he does? President.
Of course.
And I still didn't believe it. So I went home and I told my wife, this guy maybe broken the collarbone, so he got crazy and tried to impress me. And his father is the president. So she going upstairs and coming down, bring a Time magazine and 10 best businessmen in the whole world. Is that him? I said, oh, that's him. So his story was a true story.
Wow.
Next day, his wife called my wife and invited us to come to their home. I didn't know what to wear to go to his home. So put all Japanese. So he can't tell the good dress or bad dress or...
That's smart, Sensei.
And we became a very good friend. When Saiko Shian Shikumine Sensei came to the United States, Sensei, how was the trip? Oh, flight was excellent. Limousine came in by the tarp, took me into the special limousine and took to us a special room, and the food and drinks are there, and everything took care of by Mr. Garrett. That time I noticed that who you know is very important. Business connections start from there. So Taido's very early years of the Taido. But I have some ideas to grab the chance. And that made, I guess, my life totally different than others.
Yeah. You took advantage of opportunities.
Yes.
And when the moment presented itself, you attacked and you grabbed it. Since I have a couple questions about as you were growing the business, because when I talk to people and the listeners out there, what it always comes back to is you've had this school for 48 years. I don't know the statistics, but most businesses fail within the first 2 to 5 years. Was Taido making money, or was it the consultants and the restaurant that was doing it? And how did you keep it growing over time?
Taido didn't make any money. How we ate food from the restaurant. And that was a great opportunity to us. Consulting business is a made of money.
I see.
And that's because of maybe the Taido connections. I used the good for my consulting business. To get know the top of the company. Decision is made by very quickly. And I learned how to Japanese company makes the decisions. Mm-hmm. And so one took me a little bit of time. And what kind of business tools do we need? Tools are playing golf. Not how good my score is, where we play the golf, where I invited them to take in golf game, who played with us, professionals, made all the connections. Japanese, I welcomed them And so we got to know through the golf course. But karate guy, to find out that far, I did, I think, very good without any lessons.
On the golf course? You seem good at most things that you do, Sensei. You try very hard. So that makes sense. So what I'm hearing and seeing now is Taido was the catalyst for everything else. So without Taido, you couldn't have got to the restaurant. You couldn't have done the consulting. But without the consulting, Taido probably would not have been able to sustain itself.
That's very true.
I see. So it's kind of a balance, one with the other, and you fund it. And I think it's very important for people to understand that, Sensei, because people will see you now and they'll see this thriving school with Shahandai as well, and they don't understand what it takes to get to that point.
You got to apply what you have. Many different ways. Don't chicken out. Don't make a quick decision. I cannot do it. I was trained the Tenkai 5 against 1 in Taido, group hokkeis as a teamwork. So I thought I can be a movie star. Karate movie was very popular at that time. So I went to audition. People sitting on the hallway, very famous university graduate, the art department, something like that. And we are all taking one audition. So my turn came, knocked the door, went inside, 3 cameras there. And then they told me the little stories. This is you're going to talk. Camera 1, watch him. Begin. My first time trying, looking at that type of things. Camera 2, deep camera, distance. So I walk just like a hockey. Camera 3, turning, I have to turn. Turn, sentai, I doing 1,000,000 times. Catching the distance, I'm doing every time on Jisen. Free spotting. And the audition is over. And I didn't know I did it good or not. I was okay by the owner, not the director. And I was chosen for the first commercial, Honda Motor Company. And next one I hit pretty good for nationwide, went to Crystal Hamburgers. And then Dodge. On and on. Student call me, Sensei, I'm in New York. I saw your commercial. So that's one of the things, Taido's Tenkai, to making good stories. So while making commercials, I talked to the directors. We might do it this way. Maybe American likes it. So Taido's idea, use it for your life. That's the key.
It makes sense, Sensei. And because you have such a strong mental fortitude, I think the mind is the strongest tool that we have. And you've taught me that over the years. If you have a sharp mind, you can conquer anything. What I'm curious about is you demand excellence from your students. You require excellence. You set the bar very high. Do you have any stories or memories from the early days of Taido when you're training these students of how you would train and teach them? Because everyone that I know in Taido Sensei that's a black belt is high level in their life.
I think I was young and physically fit at that time. And society is not like today. More slow, fashion very much important for the manners. I wanted to do U.S. Taido is going to be generation to generation. And we have 3 generations in the dojo. When the young ones took Taido from me and married, son has a baby, 5 years old, brought back to Hombu. So 3 generations. And that is good. If it's a cheap school, cheap karate school, it doesn't going to happen. And I think the applying to your life, daily life, is I think very important. My old fashion type of teaching time was a good too. And we developed matching with the society to come to today, to survive.
Do you have any examples of the old teaching style? Because I want people to hear and understand how it grew over time. Because I've heard some pretty intense stories of how you would train people, sensei, having them do duck walk outside, keisageri kicks. What comes to you? Does anything come to your mind when you think back?
I myself was a pretty good shape and then so young. So I thought one day I'm going to do a rabbit hop, go around the 285. And after the class, I put it belts on and gi on and ready to go. Start. Took off the corner of the Sharford and the Buford Highway toward to 285. Big mistake. There's 2 big hills. I didn't count that thing. But I didn't quit. Went to 285's entrance. I look at my feet. 2 of my biggest toenails are gone. And I noticed, well, I better stop it. But I did it that much, nonstop. We have a Stone Mountain demonstration. Stuck up 10 cement blocks. Went to 8 pieces though.
You broke 8 of the 10?
Yes.
Was this hand, elbow? What were you hitting?
Elbow.
Elbow.
MP.
Wow.
But also we had a great guys, very energetic. The guy go underneath the guy and grab the both side of the belt and pull yourself up. The guy holding him underneath go lower to Dangamai to let him touch the floor. The guy in the bottom don't want to get touch the floor, so pulls her. That's pretty tough.
So it's a leg workout for the person in Chudangamai.
Yes.
And it's an upper body workout for the person holding on.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
And we developed many different type of the exercise.
Did you have a personal favorite? And I'm sure, I mean, you've done this for so much of your life. Do you have a personal favorite type of training for yourself over the years where you look back and you say, that was probably the favorite way that you yourself like to train?
Bad weather time, going outside and do practice.
Like with storms?
Yes.
And rain?
Because of Taido's, most of the Shikumine sensei did a imagination of the every techniques. Untai, wave, sentai wind, hentai cloud, nentai whirlpool, tentai lightning. I don't recommend staying outside too long when the lightnings happen. But the summer camp time, we train very hard training. And when I think about it, summer camp was a tough camp. And even today, too, society changed. So different way we do, but it's the same. If person has a will to do it, anything he can apply, use Taido's idea and spirit to the other things.
Absolutely, Sensei. What do you remember about those early summer camps that made them so tough?
In the beginning, running. And I do the front runner. I thought hotel building was so far, but reached there. We get more. We can go more farther. I go, so everybody have to follow. And coming back, I didn't know the tide's in, and then river getting full. Have to cross the river to coming this side, coming back. The ladies student was floating. So we have to catch the belt and pull them out. In the morning, early morning workout, 1,000 punches. On the sand workout, it's pretty tough. Tengi practice on the sand. Those who doesn't do a front row, it's hard for them enough. And so summer camp is one of that. It's a tough one. But fun time for the kangeko. 1,000 punches and with the mochi, power mochi you can eat. And I think we did a really trip to Japan, taking students to Japan, compete, and visiting many cities. I think a lot of projects we did was fun.
It's a lot of fun, Sensei. I think Taido exemplifies work hard and play hard very
Yes.
well. Very well. We work very hard and we also have a great time with one another. I know we've got a few minutes left, Sensei. Going back to kind of the timeline of Taido. So back to the 1970s and 80s, you said you had August Moon for five and a half years.
Yes.
What was it time to just say, hey, I need to focus on consulting? What made you go away from the restaurant?
The guy came and want to buy the restaurant. Happily, that's the busiest day we ever had. In the kitchen, dishes on the floors, and it's packed. And the guy said, would you like to buy a restaurant? I said, it's not for sale. But inside it was, wow.
You're smart, Sensei. You're smart.
And he said, anyway, I'm going to visit your home and so we can talk the price. So he came to the home and I said, you saw that our restaurant's so busy and no interest to sell. He said, we want to have one. You better really think about it because I never thought about the price. He asking that we saw it.
Wow. So this was a blessing. Like the guy, who was the guy? Was this just a rent? Who was the guy that bought this?
has a lot of Japanese restaurant chain in the United States.
I see. So he was a restaurateur. He already owned
Yeah.
restaurants. He saw that, and he came in the one day. It was already busy. It was already busy, but he came in. That was amazing. So do you remember, Sensei, how long it took to kind of make the sale? It was a pretty quick deal.
Pretty quick deal.
Wow, you got to get in, get out.
Because I didn't have a lease.
What do you mean you didn't have a lease?
Almost expired.
The timing is
It was impeccable.
well,
Yeah.
Also, that schedule of Taido and restaurant was taking a toll on my parents
It was
and home life.
you had a lot going on.
It was becoming like, overwhelming.
Was Mitsaki born then?
Yes.
So you are okay, and then Mike as well. So
Yeah.
So 2 children, the dojo.
And Musashi already.
Oh, and Musashi. So
Yeah.
3 children, the restaurant, the dojo, and consulting.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how that was a lot on your plate at that time. So you sold the business. Sensei, how did it feel to have sold a business, I guess the second business you started and sold it successfully? How did that feel?
I really didn't think too hard, but I noticed that if I continuously try hard, it will make it happen. And I think that never give up. That's a very short word, but that Taido gave me the great teaching. I never thought about I'm going to be a consultant. It's happened, and great friends, great student, great parents. My life I spent very well. I don't know how many more years I live, but I did it pretty good.
Sensei, I know everyone is so proud of you and we admire you. When you think back on what you've done, are you proud? Are you proud of what you've accomplished?
Oh, yes. I'm glad I came to the United States. I'm glad I met Evelyn and has a Uchida family. Many great friends in the consultant business, Taido business. Basically, great parents and great students. We had a great time. Each event, every year, we did very well.
Sensei, what advice would you give to people? Because I think one of, if not the strongest parts of humanity is building community. And the Taido community it reminds me of trees in a forest where the roots are spread very deep and strong within. What advice would you give to people on how to build and maintain a strong community?
First, Taido is a different type of martial arts. It's a lot of people didn't understand what Seiken Shikumine Sensei was. And a great one from the Okinawa came to Japan. Okinawa, even though they come to Japan, they got to have a passport. Okinawa was occupied by the United States for a long time. And after the war, he came to the mainland of Japan and create a new martial arts and 3-dimensional for 21st century out of self-defense. He has a dream this Taido goes worldwide, many countries possible. And I think I am unique enough person to pass his test. And he sent it to me to the US. I took only one person, Blackbelt test. Because of his request, I went to Hombu and topped the roof. Had a small desk and chair. Psycho-shan Shikumine sensei walk in, and then assistant was standing beside him. Hajime, I did best hokkei ever. And I bow and look at it, he disappeared. I thought, wow, what are techniques he's trying to teach me. And then I can hear the voice from behind. Mitz, you're looking at the USA. It dawned to me. I had a last part, totally left and right, confused. So one turn missed in the opposite side and butt toward to my master and doing an A. Immediately I turn around and then that time, if he make me fail, today's US Taido never happen. Even he's laughing, Mitz, look at it, you are looking to the USA. Taido chose a man who fits well, hopefully, in the United States. And the first seed was dropped by Seiken Shikumine in the United States. He had a hard time, but like he said, become a tree, young tree, start, makes bigger roots, and make such a strong organization, strong tree.
Sensei, if you could say anything, if Dr. Shikumine was sitting with us right now, what would you tell him?
Sensei, it's not finished yet. Two of us go to worldwide every year, maybe 10 countries we're going to visit. You and I going to make it. Your task is not finished yet. He'll do it. Very unfortunate. He died young.
And Sensei, what's your dream for the continuation and vision of Taido?
Many different nationalities to taking Taido. So we don't make a United Nations today had a war and can't stop if Taido spread out the world. I grab the phone. Call Jordan and Gory. Jordan, what you doing?
Waiting for your call, Sensei.
You gotta stop the aggressive war. Push-ups.
Us.
That's what it takes. All the councils are Taido experienced. We understand what means fair, what means truth, what means the future. And that's what I want to do. Every year, 10 countries, maybe not, I might have to do 15 or 20. And that was pretty much his dream and my dream.
Well, Sensei, I strongly believe that him looking at us now, he'd be very proud of you for what you've accomplished. And you've helped make that dream a reality. And I said it in the last interview, but I promise you myself, Shahandai, and all the other black belts that you've helped train will continue that dream and that vision to bring society together through the ways of Taido.
And you're doing very well. And your friends, Taido friends is forever.
Us.
And many nations possible we're reaching out. And we're going to have a hell of a big summer camp.
Us, Sensei, us. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on today. We'll wrap it up here. We're going to have you on again soon and talk about even more stuff. I've got a lot more questions about years down the road with Taido and being recognized by governors and presidents. I mean, Sensei, you've accomplished so much. We need to just do a documentary series on you with everything that you've done. But thank you again for coming on today. I love you. I appreciate you. And it's an honor to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. And to everybody watching, thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 2 with my Sensei Uchida Kaicho. Go back, listen to episode 1. If you haven't listened, we'll have him back on again soon. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. We've gotten a lot more followers, comments, shares. It means the world to us. We need to spread his mission and his words of wisdom. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.